Hey, before we start, a quick explanation about where we've been the last 2 days. Matt got sick over the weekend, no, not COVID, and took Monday and Tuesday off to rest. But fear not, we are back tonight and tomorrow before we break again for the weekend.
Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis, let's get to it.
It's Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. Welcome to day 736. Kevin McCarthy blocked Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell from serving on the House Intelligence Committee in response to the Democratic-led House stripping Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar of their committee assignments in 2021 after the pair embraced violence against Democratic members of Congress on social media. McCarthy accused Schiff of lying when he served as the chairman of the panel and said that he severely undermined its primary national security and oversight missions, ultimately leaving our nation less safe. McCarthy also argued that Swalwell was unfit to serve on the committee because he was targeted by a suspected Chinese spy as part of an influence campaign back in 2014 before he served on the intelligence panel. There is no evidence of wrongdoing when it comes to the allegation against Swalwell. Still, McCarthy said he made the decision because integrity matters to me. Meanwhile, a former senior FBI counterintelligence official in New York was arrested over his ties to a Russian oligarch. Federal prosecutors charged Charles McGonigal with violating U.S. sanctions, as well as conspiracy and money laundering for working in 2021 with Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska, who was sanctioned for interfering in the 2016 presidential election. From August 2017 through his retirement in September 2018, McGonigal allegedly concealed his relationship with Deripaska from the FBI, while also secretly taking cash payments of more than $225,000 and trying to get Deripaska removed from a U.S. sanctions list. Moving on, roughly a dozen classified documents were found at Mike Pence's home in Indiana. Like Biden, Pence turned them over to the FBI. While Pence has repeatedly said that he did not have classified documents in his possession, his representative to the National Archives said that a small number of documents with classified markings were inadvertently boxed and transported to Pence's home at the end of the Trump administration. FBI investigators, meanwhile, found 6 additional classified documents while conducting a search of Joe Biden's home in Delaware. Those 6 items are in addition to the materials that were previously found at Biden's Wilmington residence and in his private office. Meanwhile, the United States has seen at least 39 mass shootings so far this month, and more than 60 people have been killed. In the deadliest shooting of the year so far, 11 people were killed and 9 others were injured when a gunman opened fire at a dance studio as people were celebrating the Lunar New Year in Monterey Park, California. In international news, the Biden administration will send 31 M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine following an agreement with Germany, which will deliver 14 of its Leopard 2 tanks. European allies will also send enough tanks to assemble 2 Leopard tank battalions, equivalent to at least 70 of the heavily armored vehicles. Biden said the tanks would enhance the Ukrainians' capacity to defend its territory, adding that there is no offensive threat to Russia. If Russian troops return to Russia where they belong, this war would be over today, Biden said. Meanwhile, the infamous doomsday clock moved to 90 seconds to midnight. The organization that created the clock, known as the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, set the clock 10 seconds closer to midnight than last year, due in part to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and threats of nuclear war, as well as the threat of climate change and concerns about additional pandemics caused by humans. Bulletin President Rachel Bronson said, "We are sending a message that the situation is becoming more urgent," adding, "Crises are more likely to happen and have broader consequences and longer-standing effects." And finally, Meta says it will reinstate Trump's Facebook and Instagram accounts in the coming weeks, following Trump's 2-year suspension for inciting violence in the wake of the January 6th Capitol insurrection. The company said, "We are doing so with new guardrails in place to deter repeat offenses." The company's president of global affairs, Nick Clegg, said, "We've always believed that Americans should be able to hear from the people who want to lead the country. We don't want to stand in the way of that."
That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines.
Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.